If you're contemplating using exogenous testosterone to enhance the development of your physique, then this video is for you. Most guys, when they hop on testosterone with physique development as the goal, I'm not talking about TRT here, do it completely wrong. They jump in too early at too high a dose with zero structure and end up worse than before. This you obviously want to avoid. So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly how to implement it if you've earned the right to, so you can use it as a tool to support you with your physique goals without trashing your health as you do. And just so you know the lens that I'm speaking from here, I've been on both sides. I spent 3 years using anabolics, including testosterone, between 2017 and 2020, and during that time made a lot of mistakes. Then I spent 2.5 years working in health optimization on Harley Street in central London, working with men on both hormonal and metabolic health and understanding as a result of this how this stuff actually plays out in the long run. So what I'm giving you here isn't guesswork, okay? This is the scientific side and also the real world side combined. So on that note, let's get into the video. So first of all, super briefly, we need to actually discuss why testosterone matters in the first place. So you may likely already know this, but just as a reminder, testosterone is the main driver of masculine physiology, okay? It increases muscle protein synthesis, improves strength, recovery, and training output. It boosts red blood cell production, sharpens drive, energy, confidence, and also helps to create that masculine look, which from a physique perspective is density, shape, and also muscular fullness. Now, when you deploy an amount of exogenous testosterone that sits you above the normal range in what's called a low supra-physiological range, everything about building a masculine physique becomes more fluid. Not easy, but certainly easier. Now, all of this being said, I want to make it incredibly clear that you do not need to use exogenous testosterone to build an awesome physique. Okay, there are many guys out there that have awesome physiques that are natural, or so claim to be. So this should only be a consideration for you if you're simply wanting to go from great to elite, or simply don't have the time to invest into the process to the extent that you would need to in order to succeed naturally. So the importance of testosterone checks. Now we need to talk about something called the physiological frame, which I'll explain in a sec. Now, in my masculine physique coaching blueprint, testosterone sits in the enhancement layer, and that layer only exists for one reason, and that is to simply amplify the foundations. Okay, testosterone isn't to be used to replace discipline, fix laziness, or shortcut the lifestyle. It's simply, like I said, to amplify the foundations, not actually replace them. And because of that, deployment has to be earned and not something that you just do willy-nilly. And how you actually go about earning the right to use testosterone should be from two different angles. Okay, and this I got from a good friend of mine called Dave Lee, who is a TRT expert. I'm gonna put some details of his on the screen now so you can go and check him out, because if there's anyone in this space that you wanna trust if you are to go down this route, Dave is the man. Okay, so the two angles. The first angle is from a health perspective. Okay, we need to earn the right to implement testosterone from a health perspective. So we need a stable, regulated nervous system. We need a high redox, which comes from having a consistent connection to nature. We need a healthy circadian rhythm, and then we also need awesome blood work. In addition to the health perspective, we also need to earn the right to implement testosterone from a process perspective, which essentially means you need to have been training for at least 3 to 5 years plus consistently, naturally, before using it. You also need to have a proven nutrition discipline and also discipline around things like sleep prioritization and also stress management. Only when these systems are rock solid does testosterone implementation accelerate your growth in a controlled and health conscious way. Okay, so physiological frame discussed. Now we need to actually talk about what testosterone does in an enhanced setup. So where a lot of guys go wrong when they think about implementing a low supra-physiological dose of testosterone is they think it's gonna stack on heaps of new muscle tissue. And this is just simply not the case, okay? A low supra-physiological amount of testosterone just simply means faster recovery between workouts so you can therefore train more frequently, a better ability to maintain a leaner look while pushing body weight in, for example, bulk phases. Typically, a higher internal drive, so higher libido, lower friction to take risk, and then of course a faster ability to build muscle. I would say from my experience, both anecdotally and coaching, at a rate of say 1.5 to 2 times the rate of what you'd be able to build naturally. We're not talking about a level where an anabolic steroid cycle would sit you, which would potentially enhance new muscle formation at a rate of say 4 to 5 times that of doing it naturally. Okay, this is a low super physiological amount of testosterone we are talking about deploying here. So that is how testosterone has effect within an enhanced setup. Now we need to talk about the practical framework itself in terms of how to implement. Now, in terms of how I navigate deployment in, as I said previously, that enhancement layer of my coaching blueprint is via the following. So we use bioidentical hormones only. So testosterone is the backbone. We're not using a cocktail of chemicals, no harsh orals. Like I said, testosterone is the backbone. And the reason why is because using testosterone is the healthiest where you can enhance your physique, because you're using a hormone that the body already makes. And because of you doing that, you massively reduce the risk of potential side effects occurring. So this is why bioidentical hormone implementation is best. Now in terms of levels, we're deploying, as I've said already, a moderate level. Okay, we're going to be sitting just above that natural range. So for you, UK, European-based guys, you're looking at say a 40 to 50 nanomoles per liter, given the natural range is 8 to 29 typically. And for those of you guys in the US, you're looking at anywhere from 1,200 to 1,400 nanograms per deciliter, give or take. This dosing is absolutely enough to enhance, but it's not so extreme where it's absolutely going to start to tank health. Now, in addition to compound selection itself and the level where we're to sit at in the reference range, another absolute priority is the fact that health architecture must be prioritized during the navigation of this pharmaceutical deployment. Okay, so what I mean by this is bloods are tracked on a regular basis, at least every quarter. Sleep's prioritized and also optimized. Circadian rhythm is also aligned. Nervous system practices and lymphatic system practices are both done on a regular basis to ensure that inflammation is kept low. Conditioning is consistently done to drive favorable cardiac adaptations that we need to maintain, such as a low resting heart rate, as well as also building something called mitochondrial density that allows for better oxygen delivery to cells, which is going to enhance that redox, as I mentioned previously. And then we also need to make sure we're prioritizing our mineral consumption so the body has the raw materials that it needs to mount all of the process that it needs to run in order to maintain good health. And when all of the things that I've just discussed are done well and done consistently, that is when implementation to this extent works incredibly effectively, because it's essentially allowing everything to work synergistically within the body, for the body, as opposed to battling it. Now, from here, another compound that some of the guys that I work with like to then implement is growth hormone and or peptides. Again, growth hormone is being implemented because it is a bioidentical hormone, but the dosing at which it is implemented, again, similar to the testosterone dose, is low. So it's not going to necessarily stack an evident amount of new size, because like I said, the dose deployed is on the low end of the spectrum. So it's more so for connective tissue health, sleep quality, mitochondrial health, and overall visual refinement. So that is the physiological frame, what testosterone actually does in an enhanced setup, and also the practical framework. Now, what's incredibly important to address is who this is not for. Okay, if you are the type of guy that's skipping meals left, right, and center, you're regularly eating processed food, you're sleeping consistently less than 7 hours a night, you're training inconsistently, and you're drinking alcohol multiple times a week, potentially even smoking, implementing a super physiological dose of testosterone is a very, very bad idea. And the reason why is because if you are doing most of what I've just mentioned there, you will absolutely be in a state of dysfunction. And when you layer in a super physiological dose of exogenous testosterone into the body, you're asking for trouble. To give you an analogy, which again I got from my good friend Dave Lee, this is simply like your car, your body, being a Nissan Micra because you don't treat it well, and then you stacking in a V8 engine into it, aka the exogenous testosterone. If you do that and you rag it 60 miles per hour down the motorway, shit's probably gonna hit the fan. Maybe not initially, but certainly in the short-term future. And this is exactly the same as to what you would do if you put in exogenous testosterone into a dysfunctional body. And this is why, as I said previously in the video, you have to earn the right from a health perspective to implement exogenous testosterone, because if you don't, like I said, shit will hit the fan. So this is incredibly important for you to respect when you are considering implementation. Really and truly, exogenous testosterone use is for guys that are already living the lifestyle and simply just want that edge with their development. Or they simply just do not have the time to drop shoulder into the process, as I said previously, to the extent that they need to succeed in building the amount of muscle tissue that they're seeking naturally. So, fellas, enhancement in this setting is absolutely not about turning you into a big ass bodybuilder. That is not the goal at all here. This is simply a case of adding a cherry on what already is a well-baked cake, so to speak. Because if you do implement it in this way, you will absolutely, based on my own anecdotal and coaching experience, step into the most masculine, powerful version of yourself without destroying your health as you navigate the process. But as I said multiple times and will say again, you have to earn the right from a process perspective and also a health perspective. This isn't something to just dabble with willy-nilly. It needs careful consideration. So fellas, I hope this was of help. If you want to know specific protocols and dosing strategies that I deploy as part of, like I said, that enhancement layer within the Masculine Physique Coaching Blueprint, then simply just head over to my coaching Instagram page and drop me a DM, because I'll be happy to walk you through it. And for those of you that are watching that have potentially struggled to build a masculine physique so far, head to the description in the bio, click the link and download my free 30 days to building a masculine physique guide, because that's going to explain in absolute detail how you can best navigate this process so you stop wasting time that you already have in trying to build that masculine physique. Fellas, if you got this far, I appreciate you all. Thanks for watching. Any questions, drop them in the comments and I will see you in the next video.